What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and we know that California has a perennial water shortage and a severe drought. And today, the LA Times had a feature on something I've been wondering for years. Why do we not use desalination to solve some of this problem? The Pacific Ocean seems like a plentiful resource, and we have the technology working well elsewhere, so let's get into it. So we are essentially in a 22-year drought that scientists say is the driest 22-year period in the last 1,200 years in California. Poseidon Water has been trying for the last 20 plus years to build one of the country's largest desalination plants. The company and its supporters say that the $1.4 billion plant would be capable of producing 50 million gallons of drinking water per day. The plant wouldn't be the first of its kind, not even in Southern California. In Carlsbad, the nation's largest desalination plant has been churning out drinking water since 2015. This water accounts for 10% of what's being used by the area's 3.3 million people. Santa Barbara also has a functional desalination facility, and that costs the users about $5 per household per month. So on paper, this seems like a no-brainer. We always hear about the drought. We always hear about water scarcity. We're always told to conserve. But the California Coastal Commission is scheduled to vote next month on whether or not to build a permit to build the plant. However, this week, the commission, the agency's own commission, rejected the proposed project. But why? One of the concerns is flood risks based on updated projections of sea level rise. Another is the concern of water rate increase up to $6 per month per household. Additionally, the effects on marine life, such as plankton and fish larvae that are vital to the marine ecosystem. Now, additionally, activists claim that there are other solutions that are far more economical, such as investing in conservation programs and water efficiency improvements. To me personally, I've heard this, I've seen this. I just don't think people are willing to change their behavior to this extent. Across the world, the desalination business is booming as it quenches the thirst of drought and dryness-plagued regions. Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, Spain, Singapore, South Africa, and other countries have successful desalination plants. The California Coastal Commission is scheduled to vote whether to approve this development permit at a May 12th meeting in Costa Mesa. At that point, we'll see if desalination becomes a real future for Los Angeles. All right, LA, it's been a minute.
I like to introduce myself. My name is
King.
Churro.
Hey y'all, it's your boy King Chiro, and just recently I met a movie star from a bunch of movies in my childhood. Y'all might know him as Steve Guttenberg. Now I don't want to say where I met him, but y'all know where I work now, so y'all put that together, all right? But as we're talking, right, he's like, Ray, is California ever going to run out of water? I was like, there may be an absolute drought one day, but, in Israel, they have been doing desalination for, I don't know, probably about a decade or so, maybe longer. Why don't we do that here in California? We've got the Pacific Ocean. We can desalinate the ocean water. Of course, he had a mask on, and he's like, eyes huge. Yes, desalination. He's like, there's a big machine in San Diego, and then one in Santa Barbara. He said, we need at least 250 of them, machines to desalinate the ocean water and give us fresh water. I'm like, especially here in the Coachella Valley, we live in a desert, it's like we have a lot of underground aquifers, but, with everybody moving in because it's so cheap here and, everybody leaving LA, it's like, how long are those aquifers going to last? We need to come up with a solution to our drinking water. And obviously desalination makes sense. So he looked at me, he's like, thanks for the talk, Ray. And he heads out. I wish I would have taken a picture, but, I also like to protect people's privacies. He was trying to get out of there as soon as possible, so. Then it got me thinking, like, what other alternatives are there other than just desalination? Because there are problems when it comes to desalination, right? Then there's, like, you have the separation of the salt from the water, but then you have the salt brine. The salt brine can be very toxic to environment. So what else can we do, So I've gone on TikTok, I've done some research through TikTok. A lot of people have their own videos, and I wanted to see like what else is out there, because I've watched a documentary about Israel and how they have the desalination, but that's all I know. So I wanted to see what else is out there, and then this is what I got.
So I heard about solar desal that can turn salt water into drinking water, and it can just use free solar energy, but there's a big problem with it, right? Yeah, well, if you start with salt water, you're going to be left with fresh water and, salt? Yeah, exactly. It's a really salty byproduct called brine that can end up in oceans and cause massive damage to ecosystems. Well, is there anything we can do with it instead of just throwing it away? It's really hard to work with, but yeah, there are actually a few things, like tweaking it a little bit to turn it into a fertilizer that we can grow crops with. Oh, so you could get drinking water and food from the same place. That's the idea, yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. It really is. Have you got any more questions?
The solar power plant filters ocean water into drinking water without damaging the environment. The desalination system is housed in 20-foot shipping containers fitted with solar panels and can provide a community with 20,000 gallons of clean water per day. The system has helped make clean water accessible, reducing mortality rates caused by waterborne diseases. Where could you see this eco-friendly water filtration system being used?
Moses West knows a water crisis is quietly growing.
Everybody knows we're running out of water.
A problem the retired ranger spent the past 4 years working to eliminate.
All the water that we need exists right here in the air.
He believed so strongly in that idea. In 2015, West invented an atmospheric water generator, or AWG, a machine that takes in air and turns it into drinking water.
We're at the place now, I think, making 50, 100, 200, 250,000, a million gallons of water at an incredibly low energy consumption. I think cheaper than groundwater by far. Cheaper than desalination.
So far, 12 of these AWGs exist. West planted them in 3 areas, including the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, and Flint, Michigan.
I need to engage with the people here, and I need to show them what this machine does, and they need to understand that it is their machine, and I am here for them.
West says his AWGs are federally approved, and the water quality is also tested by the Colorado Water Authority.
It's clean. It's good enough to drink. No bacteria or anything in it. And the reason that we go through the filtration process, so as soon as you turn it on, it starts making water.
You may be wondering how these atmospheric generators are tied to Wisconsin.
Most of West AWGs were manufactured right here in Manitowoc.
Okay, so clearly there are other alternatives to water that we don't need to desalinate ocean water. We can do air to water. So with these atmospheric water generators, we can actually change air into water. Perfect. Now, the only thing is, unless you have close to, $3,000, $4,000, you're not going to buy the one that's made for your home, right? I mean, I'm showing you right here the different kinds that I found online. And also, not all environments can produce the water that you are looking to get out of the air. I mean, if it's dry air like here in the desert, I doubt that we're going to have that kind of condensation. But never know, and we'll never know until we try. I say we do test markets. That way we can create potable water for, like I said, out here in the desert, and we can come up with solutions. Because again, we're in a drought, guys. Southern California, Northern California, we're in a drought. You can only have so many man-made lakes created until there's really no other solution. Anyway, it's your boy King Churro. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, please leave comments. Some of you may leave comments and wonder why it's not there. I don't know why this is, but YouTube has me approving comments. I usually do approve comments, whether or not you have an opinion that's against me or what, I don't care. Everything's open to discussion. So, yeah, please leave a comment. And thank you for watching. It's your boy King Churro. Remember that you're loved, and remember to be great every day.
Every day you wake up, you got a decision. or down, right or wrong. At the end of the day, you make the decision. Nobody forces you. So make the right decision. Make moves, set the goal. Stop making excuses, man. And if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and sound like a duck, it's a duck. Stop guessing. Just do the right thing. You heard? You hear me? I love y'all. Stay positive. Love one another.
All right.